Tonight's book is called A Shepherd's Gift by Mary Calhoun, illustrated by Raoul Colon. The sheep and lamb were his, the pay for his work. Even though he was an orphan, the other shepherds were fair to him. Matthew had loved the lamb since she was born. Bah! She nibbled at his shirt, hungry. The shepherd boy milked and ewe and soaked a rag in the bowl of milk. He dripped the milk into the lamb's mouth, then let her suck on the rag. But she bleated, "Bah!" again, letting go of the rag. The lamb scrambled to her feet and ran off to find her mother's milk. "Come back!" Matthew chased after his lamb. When he reached for her, she darted aside and dashed down the hill. Matthew tripped on a rock and tumbled after her to the bottom. They were on the edge of a town. He had seen people traveling there all day. It was getting dark and torches blazed in the streets. The lamb stopped to sniff the air, and Matthew nearly caught her. Then she was off again, running to a stable dug into the hillside. The boy followed her inside. By the dim light of an oil lamp, he could see several kinds of animals, some sleeping, some feeding at troughs. And there was his lamb nuzzled up to her mother. "Aha!" Matthew laughed. "Smart girl, you found her." He patted the lamb's neck. Now he could lead both his sheep back to the shepherd's camp. "Welcome," came a voice in the dimness. "My lamb found her mother." Quickly Matthew claimed them. "Yes, the lost sheep came to us." The man's voice was kind. Farther inside, Matthew saw a young woman laying against a roll of cloaks. She was nursing a small baby. Nearby was a bundle of the couple's belongings. Seeing this family, Matthew suddenly missed his mother and father, whom he could barely remember. "Can I help you here?" he asked, wanting to be part of this gentle family, if only for a little while. The man nodded. "Ah, yes." He handed Matthew a jug. "It would be good if you could fetch more water." Oh, I forgot to show you the pictures. Matthew took the jug to the inn. The bright room was filled with noise and people. He was glad to leave there and return to the stable. In the yellow lamplight, he saw the mother give her baby to the man. Their faces glowed with happiness. Nursing lamb, quiet donkey, the stable was a place of peace. It made a safe shelter for the newborn child. The baby fit snugly in the man's big hands. The little one was wrapped in a cloth, and only his tiny head showed. The man laid him on a bed of straw in a feeding trough. Then he took his cloak from the roll under the mother's shoulders and spread it over her. Matthew knelt at the trough to look at the baby. Coming near, he was amazed at the feeling of peace that filled him as he watched the sleeping infant. Then the baby yawned, and the boy saw his little pink tongue. The baby closed his lips and worked them in a sucking movement. Opening his mouth again, he breathed a milky bubble on his lips. It glowed golden in the soft light. Matthew whispered, "Oh, my sweet." The baby opened his eyes and gazed at Matthew with eyes as bright as stars. The boy gasped. It was as if the baby knew him. Matthew clasped his hands in delight, smiling at the child. "What is his name?" he asked. The mother said, "His name is Jesus." The baby's eyes closed again in sleep. Matthew's lamb bleated, and the shepherd boy rose to his feet. "The straw might scratch his skin," he told the man. "Keep my sheep. You can shear her wool, and Jesus can lie on the soft fleece." "Too fine a gift," the man protested, but the mother said, "Thank you, friend." In his sleep, the baby drew a deeper breath. The man took bread from their pack. "Will you eat with us?" "No, I must go back to the sheep camp." Matthew petted his lamb between the ears. She would need to stay with her mother, but he was happy to give the lamb too. As much as he loved her, he loved the baby more. He looked at Jesus as he slept and said, "I'll never forget you." As Matthew climbed the hillside, a growing light shone on his way. He thought he heard voices. They seemed to be singing about that wonderful child who knew him, an ordinary shepherd. Wasn't that different? A different way to look at this story of baby Jesus being born.